All right, everyone, we are ready for our next run, The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, all main quests being run by the wonderful musical Daredevil. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Trader Anade, and I hope y'all are ready because you are about to see a lot of Morrowind in about 26 minutes. Yes, we are going to be doing all of the main quests, every single one of them. But first we're going to start off by getting off of a prison boat. This right here is Giab. Giab's going to go off on his own adventures. And now, we did have that bid war for the character name. Anade, would you like to tell us who won the bid war?
All right, so typed out, it is spaces as name. So capital S, capital A, and capital N. Yep,
all right,
just like
spaces as name. The actual spaces didn't quite win the bid war. Instead, we have literally typed out spaces as a word. Anyway, time has not started quite yet. Time is going to start when I get full character or control, when this guard walks up to me and talks to me.
This is where you get off. Come with me.
And you can start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. And right off the bat, we have what is probably one of the hardest strats in the run, and I just got it. And that's getting around that guard there. Always a great start to a marathon run when I get that. We also have another skip coming up, and that is half skip, where I try and skip a message, and I got that too. That's awesome. I have not been super consistent at that. Anyway, coming up, we have character generation. I'm going to be picking Redguard as my race, because Redguard's got an ability known as Adrenaline Rush, where you can go slightly faster for a little bit of time, which is, of course, very useful for speedruns. Now I'm going to head in here to this office where we're going to be doing the rest of character generation.
Yes, we've been expecting
I
you.
do need to get to level 3 for a quest that comes up a little bit into all of the main quests in the run. And so I do need to pick a custom class for my character. We are going to be getting to level 3 by leveling up the speed stat. There it is. Going to be picking a couple other things here. And that's my custom class. For my birth sign, I'm going to be picking the Steed, because the Steed makes you go slightly faster, and of course we would like to go slightly faster during a speed run. And with that, we have all of our character generation done, and now there's a bit of an exploit. See, off to the side, there is a platter, and I'm going to steal it. But then I'm going to place it on the ground. The game's going to try and take it from me and say, hey, stealing's a crime. But because I put it on the ground, the guard can't actually take it back, and so we can now just pick it up again, and I can sell it for some gold a little bit later on. Right here is a ring. You are supposed to give that ring back to an NPC that's right outside. We're not going to do that. We're going to sell that for some gold too. Just give secure certificate all of my papers, and we are off into the wide open world of Morrowind. Our first stop is the Roll of the Trader, where I'm going to sell the platter and the ring I picked up, and buy some block picks, as well as some scrolls. That was the wrong one. Whoops. That one. There are several types of teleportation in Morrowind. I just picked up some scrolls that do that. There is Mark and Recall, where you can mark a spot and then recall back there later. And then there is Intervention, where you can teleport back to the nearest temple or fort. Right now, we are heading outside of town, where there is a bit of an Easter egg. See, there's a mage named Tar Heel of North Carolina who invented some scrolls that let you jump really high. He doesn't quite know how to use them correctly, so he's just going to fall to his death. We're going to pick up those scrolls and his shoes. And then we're going to use those to just jump right to the end of the game. Yes, Morrowind is an open world game. I think I may have done the jump incorrectly. We are going to see. I do have a safety save. Oh yes, I've done that completely incorrectly, so let's just load up that safety save right now. Oops, that's the wrong button. There we go. Nope, that was not what I selected here. I did have some trouble with this earlier on in practice, so I'm not surprised this is happening. There we go. Alright, now we can jump to the end of the game.
There we go. Well, in honor of that, can I read a quick donation?
Sure.
We have $25 from Mickey. Go musical Daredevil. Looking forward to seeing you fly across the map in style.
And we have just done that. Alright, so here at the end of the game, there are several items we need to beat the game. One of them is right in here. That is the dagger keying. I'm going to pick that up. Use that in a bit. And now I'm going to swap weapons back and forth really, really quickly. If you look in the top left corner, you can actually see that that is actually permanently adding to my stats. I want to get this to around 3,000, because that is about the max things get before things get a bit unmanageable in all main quests. This game, you're normally supposed to get to around 100 at the max, but we're now at 3,000, so most physics don't really matter a whole lot now. This is the second dungeon with the items needed to beat the game, and that is the Hammer Sunder. It is located on an end boss character, but because my stats are really, really high now, I can just kind of kill them really, really quickly. Going to grab that hammer, going to drop Keening on the ground, grind up my stats a little bit here. Gonna grab that once again, quick save, and now we're actually just going to save and exit the game. And what I'm doing is I am transferring my save over from version 1.0 to Game of the Year Edition. You actually can't see that on screen right now. Just imagine a thing saying, hey, there already is a quick save in here. Do you want to override it? And I'm saying yes. Alright, so over here in... There's the quick save. Over here in Game of the Year Edition, there's actually a number of quality of life improvements and other things, and so it's actually about 10 seconds faster, especially in in-game time, to go ahead and just patch the game mid-run. See, that was not the save I loaded. What? Oh, I know what's happened. Okay, there are two files in here named quick save, so I am just going to delete both of those, retransfer the save over. This has actually happened before, so not one of those moments. All right, I'm gonna copy that over here. And hopefully this is the correct save this time. That looks better.
Hey.
Hooray. All right, I'm just gonna load that save again because that does some fun physics and loading things. All right, now I'm going to map a hotkey here, a perfectly sensible hotkey, putting that amulet there on 3. That is the wrong spell once again. All right, so now that we have done that, we're going to teleport to the nearby city of Alderaan, fly to Caldera, and meet up with everyone's favorite merchant, Creeper. And what we are going to do with Creeper is we are going to sell some gold that is in this crate right here. I just stole that. If you steal things from out of bounds or really commit any crimes from out of bounds, no one sees you, and so it doesn't really count. So we can just kind of do things like that. You're going to see lots of shenanigans out of bounds throughout this run with 3,000 speed. This here is Rick Jermaine. We're going to sell him a couple other items we got from that crate, buy an amulet, as well as a bow and some arrows. Going to equip those arrows. Then we're going to head back to Balmora, where we flew to the end of the game from. And we're going to head inside the temple where I was just outside. Inside of this temple, we are going to buy a couple of spells. One is Almsv Intervention, which teleports us back to temples. We are also going to buy Mark, as well as another spell. And then I'm going to make a custom spell. And this spell does 3 things. It increases the speed of any NPC I cast it near. It increases my personality so NPCs like me more. And then it also has a glitched effect that actually makes the spell permanent. You're going to see me create that in just a second with magnitude and speed of 0. I'm going to name that 45. That is a very traditional name. Now I'm going to map some more hotkeys here, some perfectly sensible hotkeys that are very intuitive and make a whole lot of sense. And then we are going to leave the temple and teleport back to Seyda-Neen, where we started the run from. Because in Seyda-Neen, there is a skull located in a cave just outside of town. There's a fetch quest item for a bit later on. So we're just going to grab that now while we are here. This room can get a bit wonky with physics, but looks like I didn't actually have physics problems. And I cast that spell way super early. Okay. So this right here is Caius Gossades. Caius is going to be our main quest giver for the first part of the main quest. He is going to send us on a quest to get some information, but first we have to get a fetch quest item from just outside of town. That is in this dungeon right here, known as Arkinthon. If you play this game casually, you might know of an NPC right side, Arkinthon, named Snowy Granius. We just kind of flew over him. We do not deal with Snowy in this run. The fetch quest item we need is right in here. I'm going to grab that. And then we're going to head to the NPC and get the information for Caius. That is the wrong door. We're going to head in that door later. This is the correct door. Alright, that's done. We can talk to Caius, get their information, get our next quest. And then we are going to work on leveling up to level 3, which I talked about before. This isn't actually the formal level up, we are just setting up for that. We're going to do the full level up a bit later on. There we go. Now we did queue up a whole bunch of fade-ins and fade-outs for those level up, or those skill ups, and so we're just kind of getting a short rave here while the game goes through all of those. And after that, we are going to head to the Mages Guild. We are going to buy a big soul gem. We're going to sell a couple of items here, as well as buy some scrolls of divine intervention for later. We're going to head downstairs here. This NPC wants the skull. They're going to give us some information about the Nerve cult. We are going to buy a levitate spell. This is a bit of a safer strat. We did have the amulet earlier, but we like this better. And then we are going to head back to Alderaan. And we are going to set up for yet another glitch. See, if you cast a follow spell twice on certain NPCs with certain escort quests, it actually gets to a part of the script for that escort quest that instantly passes that escort quest. We are not sure why that part of the script is there, but we are very, very happy because some of those escort quests are very, very annoying. This is a game from 2002 after all. And following AI is not great, of course. Alright, now that we have done that, we are going to actually level up to level 3. If I can click things appropriately here. There we go. And we are going to get our next quest from Caius. Caius wants us to go from the city of Vivec and get yet more information from 3 NPCs. You may be sensing a bit of a trend here. So in Vivec, we're going to talk to our first NPC, which would be a rather annoying escort quest, but with our Shoes of Instapass that we just created, we can just cast them twice to the NPC, and they'll say, alright, I am definitely here where I need to be. And so that's completed. We're going to head to our second NPC. They're in a bit of trouble with their taxes, but if we just kill the taxman from out of bounds, then that problem goes away, I guess. There he goes. The NPC just did not care at all about what happened there, my goodness. Alright, we can talk to the NPC down in the sewers, where they have been hiding. Get the information about the Nerve cult. Then the third NPC is in the library. Nope. The game ate one of my inputs there. There we go. They're going to tell us to get a certain book, which also happens to be in the same library, but sealing is wrong. I'm going to try and get my head just out of bounds. Oh, that worked.
Welcome,
nice.
friend.
I've been very consistent with
the
that,
one
so
I've
no
heard
one knows
talk
that I stole the
about?
book. Alright, now we can head back to Caius. Caius is going to send us on yet another information gathering quest. This time we are going to talk to an NPC about a group known as the Ashlanders. They are a nomadic tribe that lives out in the Ashlands, and we are going to ask specifically about their gift-giving customs. Which is a rather interesting bit of information, but this will all make sense in a little bit. There we go. So now that we've gotten all this information for Caius, Caius is finally going to tell us what exactly is going on. See, the Emperor Aurelius Septim VII, played by Patrick Stewart, believes that we may be the reincarnation of a war general. That was the wrong city, my goodness. I am all over the place today. So the Emperor believes that we may be the reincarnation of a war general from over 1,000 years ago, and if that is the case, then we have a very important destiny to fulfill. And so we are going to head out to the Ashlands and talk to the Ashlanders about the destiny, and see if they can help us fulfill that. Now, before we talk to them, we have a fetch quest here in this cave. So we're going to go fetch that item before talking to them. That is a bow we are going to get that is going to be very, very helpful for a good chunk of the main quest. You can see there, doors are kind of the enemy in this speed run. They can get very, very finicky with like physics and other stuff. There you are, you have the bow.
Let me know when would be a good time to read a quick donation.
Sure. This run is very, very dense, as you can tell. So
I know.
I'm talking like a million miles a minute. So anyway, we have made it to the Ashlanders. We have some very important things to fulfill here, mainly bribing the NPC 200 gold so we can talk to their leader. And now that we have done that, the leader can refer us over to the Wise Woman after we said that we have gotten the bow. Now what the Wise Woman is going to say is, excuse me, we have not fulfilled our destiny quite yet, but we do still have the potential to fulfill that. There we go. So next we have to make it 6 a.m., certain hours. Normally we would get a very, very long fetch quest to get us the location of a cave, but because I've beaten this game like several thousand times at this point, we know exactly where that cave is. It is right here. And now it's time for a quick donation.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, no, that's perfectly fine. We have $3 from Anonymous. It just says file name Rat Time, and that goes towards naming the file name for Wind Waker, which is the very next run after this. And so far, that's the only donation towards that file name. So currently, that file name is Rat Time. but it's only at $3. Now, chat, that means it's only $4 to change the file name for Wind Waker to something else. Just remember, when you donate, put the file name that you want to donate towards in your donation, as well as selecting the poll for the file name.
All right. So while you're in that cave there, it actually set us up for the next part of the main quest, which is, and I have gone way past where I'm supposed to go. Okay. That actually sets us up for the next part of the main quest. Where am I even going? Let's see, I'm supposed to be like here-ish, I think. Yes, okay. Good. So the next part of the main quest is we are supposed to have all 3 of the great houses on Vardenfell name us Hortator, and all 4 of the Ashlair tribes name us Nerevari. Now, you may have just noticed I killed one of the counselors of House Telvanni, and I seem to be stuck here. So if you actually kill a counselor, then their vote for Hortator doesn't really count. So we can just kill counselors all we want. As long as one of them survives, then we can still be named Hortator, no problem. Now this right here would be a very annoying escort quest, but with our Shoes of Instapass, we can just pass that quest instantly. And that's that. This is the Urshulaku tribe. They are going to name us Hortator, no problem, because they already like us. And with that, we are now going to head to Aldrun and take care of the Redoran Hortator quest. Now, the way the Redoran Hortator quest works is that the head of House Redoran has kidnapped the son of one of the other counselors. And so, we are going to go rescue that son, and then all of the other counselors are going to vote for us to be named Redoran, as that counselor garners favor with them. Now, for the head of House Redoran, we are going to deal with him later. I'll just tell y'all about how exactly it's going to work once we get to that point. Now, this is unfortunately the one escort quest in the run that we cannot skip. This has to do with how this quest is scripted. It doesn't really have that part of the script that instantly passes it. And as I said, Follow AI is from 2002, and also I have to be very, very careful not to not to hover outside of these bridges, which gets kind of finicky because otherwise that NPC gets very, very lost somehow. But it looks like we have made it here no problem. We got fairly good RNG. And with that, I now have to talk to all of the other counselors, and so Anade, now is a great time for some more donations or blurbs if you have any.
Perfect. Well, we did get $50 from Mr. Game and Shout saying, inside of you, there are 2 quick save files, or wolves? Maybe both. And that went towards naming the Eevee Gus Gus. Thank you so much for that donation. And that pushed us to $2,139. And chat, remember, if we can get $2,500 by the second to last run of the day, we can get an extra $7 or 7-minute bonus run later tonight.
Yes. Let's get that bonus run. That'll be so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Erebar Manor. Very, very easy to get lost in when you're playing this game casually. I actually got lost in here several times when I was learning this run. And with that, we have talked to every one of the counselors except the head of House Redoran. So we're just going to talk to him. He doesn't like this whole Hortator thing and naming us Hortator. So what he's going to do is he's going to challenge us to a duel to the death. We're going to see how that works out for him later on. In the meantime, we are going to head back to Balmora because Caius has a bit of a side quest for us. See, Caius and his Blades agents have identified a 6th house base just outside of town. And so he wants us to go to that 6th house base and take care of the head priest there. Now, the 6th house are basically the main villains of Morrowind. They are slowly trying to take over the island of Vardenfell and eventually take over the entire world, and so we want to stop that. The leader of the 6th house is an NPC named Dagoth who actually used to be the friend of the general we are the reincarnation of, but he has, of course, since tried to turn himself into a false god, and, of course, take over the world by infecting people's dreams, and we don't like that, so we're going to stop him, hopefully. So this right here is the main priest. We're going to kill him from out of bounds. There he goes. The problem is, as the priest died, he cursed us with corpus disease, which is a fairly nasty disease that slowly disfigures you and eventually kills you. And so we're going to have to get that taken care of. And while Caius and his Blades agents are working on that, we're going to head to Vivek and then take care of one of the Nerevarine quests, and that is the Arabanium Sum Nerevarine. Now, the way the Arabanium Sum Nerevarine quest works is you have a number of leaders of the tribe who are all fairly warlike and don't really like the whole Nerevarine thing, and so we're just going to kill them. We're going to name someone else as head of the tribe instead, and they are going to name us as Nerevarine. You're going to see me getting some clothes off of all of the warlike heads of this tribe. We're going to be using those a little bit. Now we have the ash can in here. Sometimes that audio file gets doubled. It didn't quite happen this time, but that's all right. So now that we have killed all the warlike NPCs, we're going to talk to the wise woman, and she's going to tell us everything I just told you that we are doing. So that we have done that, we can talk to another person in this tribe. We can name them as the head of the tribe. They're kind of hesitant. They don't really want to be. We're going to yell at them a bunch and give them all the clothing we stole. And they're going to say, all right, you're Nerevarine now. Please leave me alone. Now with that, we are going to get our Corpus taken care of. Caius's Blade's agents have found someone who is working on a cure for Corpus. The problem is that everyone he has given it to so far has died. But I mean, what do we have to lose really anyway? We are probably going to die anyway. So this is Telfir. He lives in, or Devathfir. He lives in Telfir. Telfir is the worst area to navigate in the entire run due to how the collision in like these Telvanni towers works. It's also not great casually too. It's really easy to get lost in here. But anyway, we have made it here to the Corpus area. This is the last living dwarf. If you played Morrowind or Skyrim casually, you know how big of a deal it is to be talking to a dwarf in an Elder Scrolls game. Oh, nice. I made it to the door in first person. That is kind of cool. I'm switching back and forth between first and third person because it actually does change your movement speeds between like moving forwards and strafing. And in an area like this that is difficult to navigate, that is very, very important to do. Now, we talked to Devathfir, we got the Corpus cure from him, and what do you know? That cure worked on us, the main character of all people. That right there was one of the heads of House Telvanni. He is apparently supposed to appear in a Skyrim DLC or something, but he's dead. Don't worry about it. This right here is Gothrin. You are actually supposed to kill him as part of the main quest, and the game specifically tells you to do that. This door right here is one of the most trolly doors in the entire run, but I actually didn't have a problem with it. This right here is a slave in a cage, and the door got stuck on them. I'm going to cast my Shoes of Instapass on them twice, and they are now the bride of the head of the Zainab tribe. Not quite sure how that works, but anyway, we can be named Nerevarine of the Zainab tribe now, so I'm just going to head back and turn that in. With that, we're going to head back to Caius, who has been recalled to the Imperial City, because apparently there's some stuff going on there. But he's going to give us one final quest. You may remember way, way early on, we talked to Milo when we stole the book, and it was a whole thing. Well, we are going to talk to her once again and need to break her out of jail. But first, we are going to take out the head of House Lalu, because he is actually allied with the 6th House in Dagoth-Ur, and he was never going to name us Hortator. And with that, all of the other heads of House Lalu are scared of us, and so they are going to vote for us to be named Hortator. There we go. Now we're going to head to Vivek and take care of the head of House Redoran, who, as you may remember, challenged us to a duel to the death. Just going to bonk him on the head really quickly. There he goes. Not sure why he thought that could get him anywhere, but yeah. Now we are going to talk to Yingling Half-Troll of House Flalu. He makes us pay him 1,000 gold, and killing him is faster, so we're just going to do that. Goodbye. Next we need to talk to another counselor. All you have to do is find him. He is right over here.
How wonderful. Welcome, Outlander. We welcome you freely.
Next up, we have a counselor who's a bit out of the way and really, really easy to forget, especially if you're playing this game casually or learning this run. They are right over here. And with that, we can now go break Milo out of jail, which is in a giant floating meteor being held aloft by a false god whose powers are going to be taken away by what we're about to do by completing the main quest. I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong there. Anyway, here's Milo. We're going to give her a scroll of divine intervention, and that's going to help her break out of jail. We're just going to use our own intervention to break out of jail, and then we're going to head to the Milo's secret base by saying that we want to go fishing. See, Milo is part of a faction known as the Distant Priests, who have an alternate account of the war general we are the reincarnation of. But the temple here on Vardenfell does not like that account, and so they are persecuting the Distant Priests, and that's why Milo was in jail. We have now gotten that alternate account. Now, the next two quests can kind of be done in any order. I like to do the Telvanni one first. We basically need to turn in the Telvanni Hortator quest by talking to the last living leader of House Telvanni, and that is Mistress Thorana, who's a bit hard of hearing, and so she's going to ramble about spiders and eggs and other fun things. And hopefully I did this correctly. You can tell I've been kind of all over the place. Okay, good. You may have noticed me waiting a bit after I kill NPCs, because if their death animation doesn't complete, then they're not counted as dead. And that actually means that I didn't complete the quest fully, and that can add minutes onto the run. This right here is House Redron, and it turns out the new head of House Redron is the counselor whose son we've rescued, and so he says, sure, we will name you Hortator. Next we have Halalu Hortator, and that is going to be with Crassius Curio, who is a rather interesting character. And all I will say about that is that he's a bit of a playwright, and you might have seen his play just kind of floating around in books in this game and in Skyrim. That's all I'll say about that. Anyway, with that, we have now been named Nerevarine by all 4 Ashliner tribes and Hortator by all 3 great houses, and so we now need to talk to the false god Vivek, who's going to give us the final quest to defeat Dagoth-Ur. I can through there we go. Vivek gives us an item known as Wraithguard. If you're playing this game casually, that helps you beat the effects of Sunder and Keening, which we got at the very start of the run. Because we are, like, really powerful, we can just kind of ignore those. But anyway, now we're just going to head to the center of the map and defeat Dagoth-Ur. We actually parkoured past all of this very early on in the run because my speed was high enough. In older versions of the route, we would just kind of go over that. Dagoth-Ur is down here. We are going to skip phase 1 and clip out of bounds just to get directly to phase 2. We hit the heart and center of the chamber once with Sunder, 5 times with Keening, and time will come up as soon as I lose character control. So get ready on that. There we go. And time.
GG.
You no longer bear the burden of prophecy. You have
Not my
achieved your
finest work
destiny.
on this run so far.
You are free.
But you know, we still got to the end.
Is folly.
And that right there was a fun cutscene. So anyway, yeah, that was Morrowind all main quests. I'm going to hydrate quickly.
While you're
There's a lot of
hydrating
talking.
really quick, I want to let everyone know we have had your donations coming in for the Wind Waker file name. We've had just a bunch of things flowing in. We've had a bunch of suggestions for file names. Currently in the lead at $13 is Bees! But that is the next run coming up, so keep those donations coming. However, I believe there was an incentive.
There was indeed an incentive. And that was met yesterday at like 9 p.m. So thank you all so much for your extremely generous donations for the Transgender Law Center. We are so happy to be able to support an organization like this in these times. So thank you all so much for donating for the naming incentive, for this bonus run incentive. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how this is going to work. Actually, are we ready on the timer? I think we might be.
I'm going to say yes, and hopefully we are.
Perfect. We still have a bit of time. Again, timer doesn't start right away. So let's see. The winner was Spaces as Name.
Yes, Spaces as Name.
That's correct. Okay. So the way this run is going to work is that the way our main quest worked is we got the weapons, we jumped to the end of the game, we got the items needed to beat the game, then we veered off, did all the main quest stuff as required by the route, then we came back to defeat the final boss. Well, you don't have to veer off exactly. You can just go straight to the end after you get the items needed to beat the game, and that's exactly what we're about to do. Alright. So if we are ready on the timer, then time will start in 3, 2, 1, go. And we have guard skip again. Let's see if I can get it twice. And I did. Nice. I think the last time I did this in a marathon, I didn't get it the second time or something like that. So 2 guard skips is very, very good. Can I get second half skip? No. That's fine. Was not expecting to get that even once today. Now, once again, I am going to be choosing Redguard as my character's race because Adrenaline Rush is going to be super useful. But once we get inside for character generation, things are going to be a little bit different. This is where things tend to deviate from all main quests, because we don't have to be level 3 anymore. We don't have to do that quest. And so I'm just going to choose a pre-made class that is good enough for the jump that we have to do all the way to the end of the game. That class is Barbarian. We actually have like looked into what's the most optimal, and Barbarian definitely seems to be the best choice there, so you can just go straight to it. I'm going to be choosing Speed once again for my birth sign. There we go. And once again, we are going to be stealing the platter, of course, because we still do need that gold as well as those items. There is my papers. There is the platter. There's a lot of dialogue. And so from here, things are going to be a bit similar. So, Anade, if you've got anything you want to plug, now would be a great time.
Your papers, please.
And if not, we... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, my internet decided to be a little bit of annoying, but we're good.
Oh, goodness.
So I just wanted to say the other options. So we have $3 towards time for that file name for Wind Waker, $10 towards $10 wood, and then $13 so of those file names or name if you want to for that Wind Waker HD file name bid.
Yeah, it looks like Anade is having some fun internet times. Or maybe I am. Anyway, one thing you will notice is that I did not pick up Tarkio's shoes there because we don't need the shoes of Instant Pass. We just need to get to these scrolls to jump to the end of the game from. So we're going to be picking up Keening once again. Once again, we'll be doing parkour, and hopefully it goes better than it did last time. It has been inconsistent. Now, another fun thing is that I don't have to watch my speed as much because getting speed like above 3,000... Whoops, this parkour is not going well at all. Getting your speed at 3,000 is good for, like, movement stability reasons, but here, I don't have to worry about that as much. So I can make my speed 4,000 if I want to. It's totally fine. Oops, went through the door there. Alright. So we're going to be killing Dagon Venom once again to get Sunder. There we go. And now I don't have to grind up my skills again or patch the game. We can just teleport all the way back to Alderun and then come into Dagoth Earth from there, because it actually is faster to do it this way rather than leaving or trying to leave dungeon. Veminal is not a great dungeon to navigate. I have lost many PBs to Veminal. So anyway, here we are back in Dagoth Earth once again. We have gotten to the end of the game. And time will be coming up. It will take a little bit longer because I have to get out of here a different way since we don't have Mark and Recall, but I will call time. There's the Heart of Lorcan done, final boss done, and time.
You no longer bear the burden of prophecy. You have achieved your destiny. You are free.
And I don't know if you heard there, but yes, that was 3 different audio files all playing at the same time. That's how you go fast in this game. Or what happens to go fast in this game. Anyway, thank you all very much for donating once again. And especially for supporting the Transgender Law Center. A few shouts I want to give. I want to give shouts to Forrest for doing a lot of the initial routing for this run and this route, especially for all main quests, as well as a shout out to Volvi, who did a lot of the other things and helped mentor me a lot to learn this run. Of course, shoutouts to everyone helping out behind the scenes here at Speed4 TLC, as well as to the Elder Scrolls community. If you would like to learn how to do these runs, we do have a Discord you can check out through the speedrun.com website. And I believe that is all for me, and I'm going to head back behind the scenes to help out more with organizing this marathon. So thank you all very much, and I will see you tomorrow for some Skyrim.